Hello everybody and welcome to VFR. Today we are here on the ground in Boise, Idaho with our Cessna 310R from Milviz. November 866 Tango Whiskey is going to be our call sign for this evening. We are here on the Vatsim network. They're doing an event actually in this part of the world, more out Boise to California. But we're going to do, we'll plan through the actual flight here because this is all kind of spur of the not moment, but I want to go through some of the planning, and I haven't actually done it yet. But we're at Boise. The rough plan is going to be flying up the Snake River to West Yellowstone. About hour and 40 minutes of VFR cruise, and we are at a towered airport here in a Class Charlie with full coverage for on ATC. So yeah, that's going to be the rough plan for today. We'll see how much if we want to do any other landings, visit any other fields on the way. We'll get there as we look at the map. So first things first, let's load up with some sightseers because that's what we want to do. And then just kind of planning out the route. We're going to take full fuel if it will go within max takeoff. 5340, yeah, so that's good. So thank you all for coming along. Again, Friday night flights tonight. The I think it's the San Joaquin FNO on Vatsim that we are vaguely participating in. So that is all good. This is all good, and I don't have the right call sign here, so we're gonna piggyback off of 2128 Victor today in terms of settings in the Milviz world, but that's all right. So, without further ado, let's. I would like to turn on the airplane so we could listen into air traffic control, but we also need to do our flight planning. So let's step over to the chart first while we watch. We are at the GA ramp here on the south side, on the south side of Boise. Most of the commercial departures should be off that way. Again, this is a Vatsim event for tonight. They've got Boise all staffed up. So we're going to fly out and just we're going to try and slot our VFR airplane out, and we're basically going to depart out to the west, if possible. But before we do that, we got a flight plan. So, first starting out with the weather in Boise. We're VFR, 10 knot wind, 300. 300 at 10 mile visibility, no ceiling. There's light clouds in sim, 29 or 71 here, a few clouds. Let's check out West Yellowstone, KWYS. We've got a stiffer wind, 13, 19 knots, 190, 7,500 foot ceiling. It should be just fine for our VFR purposes. 29 or 88. If weather doesn't permit up the valley, we're basically going to be flying up a valley. If we'll look at the map in a little bit, but we'll have to think about that as we're planning our what's our alternate plan if we can't continue due to weather. But weather's good here at Boise. We'll definitely get off the ground, and it looks like Boise is landing. What is this? I'm not too familiar with Boise. If we go back, looks like Boise is landing to the west, so they're landing, it looks like on the 28, it looks like a 10 to me. So should be good. We got 2 runways, so they might we might be able to, that might simplify things getting out of here in terms of actual Vatsim traffic. So that's all stuff we're going to think about here as we just take a second to look through our flight plan and figure some stuff out. So we're going to be in Sky Vector for this particular VFR flight planning. We've got essentially, I'm going to put up this on my other screen so I can see that. Basically, this is the roughly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be flying up the valley. Boise is here, so for reference in terms of the United States, we're kind of up here in the northwest-ish area, not quite to Washington, Oregon, in Boise, Idaho. Now, from Boise, our basic plan is going to be to fly east through this valley here. We are at pretty high altitude. We've got a lot of high altitude surrounding us. We see 12,000 foot peaks here. Basically flying up to Yellowstone. So this is kind of the rough path I've traced out. Is following the Snake River. So this is the Snake River Valley here, and we're basically going to. The idea will roughly be to trace the Snake River all the way up until we get up to West Yellowstone, which if you're familiar with some of our other videos, this is Yellowstone National Park right here. So we did make a video kind of exploring that a little bit in the, I think, the Porter seaplane version. But so KWYS or KWYS, I should say, is going to be our final destination. We'll be flying VFR. There are a few airports along the way. We have, so Mountain Home is an Air Force base. We're not going to touch that. We have some municipal airports along here, these magenta ones that are untowered, so we could land there if we want to. We'll see how busy Boise, or how busy, I don't know what the center is called here at this part of the world. We'll see how busy, yeah, this is Salt Lake Center. We'll see how busy Salt Lake Center is if we pick up flight following or not. They may be unable, and that's all right. Burley is kind of this airport. KBYI is my first kind of navigation point. You could also go to the Burley VOR, BYI. Either would work. We need to be cognizant of the Class Delta here, the towered airport at Twin Falls. So that will be something we need to look at. That's about at 4,000 feet here. But we should stay to the north of that, pretty well to the north of that. And then just basically following the trail up, the other towered airport we should look at is Pocatello here. So we want to make sure we don't bust their airspace. There is center on line, so that is a controlled airfield. And then Idaho Falls here is the bigger one too. So these 3 towered airports, we just have to make sure that we're not busting their airspace. As long as we're above 5,000 feet AGL, we really should be fine. And around this part of the world, that's, well, this is about, this is looking at 4,700 feet. So you're looking at a cruise of about 10,000 feet maybe, but we'll see. Other airspace we should think about on our way in. West Yellowstone is uncontrolled, so it's an untowered airport. So we'll have to use just basic traffic calls there. And then, yeah, anything else? We want to avoid the restricted area here, most likely. But I think Center will have their hands full either way. So other than that, it's a pretty straightforward flight. Did we get Twin Falls? Yeah, so Twin Falls. The valley, again, we're looking at altitudes around 6,000, 7,000, 7,900 here as our highest VFR altitudes. So, penciling in a cruise altitude around 10,000 feet. And then we'll, again, keep looking out. If we need to take a shortcut, we can cut across this way, too. So if we want to hit, looking for a navigational waypoint we could actually use, you could do something like GNG Gooding. So KGNG. I don't need to follow the river. I'm not, that. We could do a mountainside, too, and that'll be a little bit quicker. Reasons below 6,000 feet means sea level. Okay. So that's all Secret Squirrel stuff. So we could go to Aberdeen, say U-36 here. Just using these airfields as kind of both visual references. That's right across from Pocatello and the big reservoir. So, kind of tying that in, which is something we can punch in the GPS, and then this, the American Falls Reservoir here. Here are other things that we could look at. There's a power plant. We should be able to see that through We Love VFR region. That should be represented. So if we see a power plant, also the train line here, and Shoshone Junction here, could be something we could also pick out from the air. But we will have a GPS on board too, but just to do visual references. And then, yeah, left turn all the way up. Again, just staying out of the Idaho Falls airspace here. So that's the rough flight plan. We will see how far we get and where we get going. Let's head back to stream. Again, we went over the weather. As far as diversions, any of these untowered airports will probably be our first bet, but if we need to, we can call, just because it's going to be busy in Boise Center, if we call but we can go into any of these controlled airports too. So Twin Falls, Idaho Falls, Pocatello are all kind of good divert points if weather gets bad or something happens. So that is really the flight planning for now. Let's go ahead and get started up with this, with our Milviz Cessna 310. Let me get out the documentation, my literature on the Milviz, and pull it up. Now, I just used the checklist that they include in their manual. I think it works for me, and it's pretty good. I just have to dig it out of this PDF. All right, cockpit pre-flight. Let's go ahead and get back into the airplane. Cockpit pre-flight. We can close all this stuff up. We're going to take a couple of sightseers with us. We're pretty close to max takeoff weight. We've got full fuel and passengers. I might lighten it up a little bit. So we might take the left wings down to 43% or 44, yeah. but filling the main tanks on the wings, and we'll go half on both of those, just to give ourselves a little more headroom. We are kind of high today. We're starting out again about 5,000 feet at Boise. We're going to run GTN 750 today because it's just easier on Vatsim. And then these are all the failures. Failures are rare rental state, so we'll have to check everything. And that's pretty much it. So we are going to go ahead and just remove everything so I don't forget about it. As we see, it looks like an American leaving out of here. So again, today we are 866 Tango Whiskey, probably going to be shortened to 6 Tango Whiskey. So you get ready for listening to that. This is the topographic livery of FlightSim.to, and I added the, I ripped it and added the N number myself. So that's a custom job. All right, control locks are stowed. Parking brake is indeterminate. Set. All switches are off. So left to right, this is good, this is good. All these are off. Lights are off. Fuel pumps are off. Prime, not anywhere. These are all good. And while we're going, we can also look at, well, that's not going to work because the battery's not on. Checking all these things. Cabin air is kind of a mess. But switches are all off. And good to go. Circuit breakers are in, just looking for red. Fire extinguisher is secure. I can't move it. Voltmeter on battery. And our landing gear switch is down. Where's gear on this plane? Those are flaps. Where's my gear handle? I can't remember. Oh, it's right here. Okay, it's hiding from me. Fuel selector. We will put them both to main. These rotate the opposite way you think they should. And let me update my VFR flight plan and like have a squirrel thought. Because we did change what I said I was going to do. So let's do this. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. And then 5,000 feet, it really should be, we'll aim for 10,000. And just refile that. All right, so let's turn on our battery. We do have things beeping to life. We'll turn on our nav lights. We do have fuel tanks. Let's check the mains and see aux fuel quantity. That seems reasonable. And just make sure I took off all the covers and everything we have. And we do seem to have good lights. So that's good. So before starting inspection, we've done, before starting engines, we've done our pre-flight inspection. Cabin doors are latched, but not quite secure. I'm gonna go that way. Let me also paste in the route here. So we are going KBOI to overflying these airports to KWYS. And we are November 866 Tango Whiskey. All right, that's all set up. And we're going to keep on rolling. So control locks removed, seats are secure, brakes are set, fuel selectors on mains. Landing gears down. Mixtures, I got to set up some stuff. I don't have any fancy auto setting for this. I have, so basically my control setup is a Gladiator NXT joystick and a 1 VKB THQ. Basically, it's a little box that has 3 axes levers. So I have a Jets preset, which is 2 throttle levers and a 2 throttle levers and speed brake. But for GA planes, I have a GA preset with throttles, mixture, and props. Not ideal for a twin, but it works for our purposes. So props, mixture, full forward, throttle should be open about 1 inch. All switches are off, circuit breakers are in. Yeah. Emergency stuff, my guards are closed. Avionics master is off. Aux fuel pumps are off. Battery and alternator is on. We've got, seems like good lights here. Just do a smattering of these, a random check. We saw those earlier. Looking pretty good. All right. Our altimeter, what did I say? 2979 at Boise? 2971. So we'll go down to 2907. And that's altimeter. Clock is fine. Cow flaps are full open. That's down here. Full open, they should be pushed in. Fuel quantity is good. We checked that. Cabin air controls will set that up once they get a little bit of, we're warm and steady. Alternate air is in. External lights are going to be as required. So we're getting ready to start up, so let's give it our anti-collision lights as well. Make ourselves nice and bright. So thank y'all for coming along. We're going to get, I'm going to get one engine running here, and then, yeah, then we will go ahead and get started. So, props clear, magneto switches are going to be on. Oh, I do want my alternators on. We'll start the right engine. Or we'll start the left engine, actually. I'm going to do it by the book. Left engine. We're going to prime left. Hold the starter. We do have life and low on the aux pump. And we want it to be around 1,000 RPM. I'm going to turn on our avionics now and start listening in on ATC. It's going to be a busy night for a smaller airport like this. But actually, it's not too bad. There's 12 departures, but the arrival stream is starting to come in. A stream of arrivals is about to come in, so we'll see. But we do have a full coverage, so hopefully they can accommodate us departing easy out to the west, out to the east. Okay, so we've got Boise ground 1217 and Boise delivery 1259. So we'll tune into ground for now, 1217.
Boise ground, hello, Legion 47 on gate Bravo 16 with Charlie, ready for push. Looks like we have another aircraft parked inside of us as well.
Legion 47, Boise ground, ramps uncontrolled, advise and ready to taxi.
I'll call you for taxi, Legion 47.
Boise ground, Elite 647 is at Turbo Air with Charlie, ready to taxi.
Elite Turbo Air 647, Boise ground, runway 28 left, taxi via Foxtrot Bravo.
Okay, 28 left via Foxtrot Bravo, Elite 647.
We're just getting some stuff set up. I haven't flown actually, have not flown very much VFR in Vatsim either. We'll tune in, let me get delivery up here. That's going to be 1259. So let's see, we have, we've got one engine running. We are up. We'll start the second engine before we go. Alternators, we'll have to check them. We're on the right alternator now. Or the left alternator now, so let's make sure. And we got nothing on the right. That seems reasonable.
Boise ground, Malicious 1 on the International Guard ramp, ready for taxi.
Malicious 1, Boise ground, runway 28 left, taxi via Bravo. Give way to the Falcon on Bravo, just passing past your nose.
Alright, taxi via Bravo, and yeah, you just passed me, Malicious 1.
All right, let's pick up. We should also pick up the ATIS too. So this is Boise. Let's see. Boise ATIS 123.9. 123.9. Okay.
Few clouds,
Hey, it
Mac 1
works.
2000. Temperature 27. 2.7. Altimeter 2971. Area navigation or visual approach is in use. Landing runway 28 left. Departing runway 28 right. VFR departures. Contact L with direction of flight. Notices to air mission. IFR departures. Expect a pre-departure clearance via private message. Read Echo runway assignments and hold short instructions. Attention. Due to the close proximity of the runways, ensure that you are lined up for the correct runway. Advise on initial contact. You have information Charlie.
Information Charlie. We're going to call delivery for clearance with our
Boise
direction
Air
of flight.
Terminal G Airport 8 has information Charlie 23530. 1290 at 10. Visibility 10.
All right, so that's ground. That's ATIS. And then what did I say delivery was? 125. Boise delivery 1259.
Turbo, Elite 647, monitor tower 118.1. Have a good.
So we got Charlie. We are at KBOI.
And Boise ground Delta 2785, ready for push and start.
What did I file? KGNG.
Bye. Delta 2785, Boise ground. Ramps uncontrolled. You can advise and ready
U-36.
to taxi and confirm Charlie.
Roger that. Advise and ready to taxi.
We're
and
moving
we
too
have
fast.
Charlie Delta 2785.
Thank you, Delta.
And then insert after will be U-36. And then, where did I say we were going? KWYS, Yellowstone. Oh, man. It's frustrating. I wanted to add a... Oh, I see what I did. I see what I did. I screwed that up. This is a mess. So thanks for coming along and watching Button Pushing Simulator. KWYS, while a man fumbles around with a touchscreen in virtual world. Boy. See, now I'm just moving too fast for my own good. Remove. Let's try this again. I'm typing faster than I can think. Boise to KWYS. And adding an en route waypoint
Delta
at
4124, monitor tower 118.1. Have a good flight.
GNG
Minus Tower, Delta 2124.
and U-36. Okay, so that's good. A little bit of a show, but making sure that looks about right. We're going to depart out this way, and that matches up pretty well with what we're seeing in Sky Vector. So that's good. Let's go ahead and just recenter and zoom back in on Boise Airport. All right, so I think we're about ready to go. We're calling delivery with direction of flight. We have information Charlie on board. While we're doing this, let's get the right engine up. So magneto's on. We got plenty of fuel, so I'm not worried about that. Prime. Crank. Low.
Boise ground, Delta 723 in for...
Departure frequency is 119.6 for American 317. Affirm, sir.
Thank you. American 3325, Boise delivery.
Did I say 45 for a departure? That's not bad. Not too bad. While we're waiting, let's go ahead and get this programmed in too. And we're good. We're on 125.9er.
Legion 47, Boise delivery. Legion 1414, Boise delivery.
Boise delivery, go ahead.
Legion 1414, a new departure frequency, Big Sky South, 119.6, 19.6.
119.6 for Legion 1414.
Thank you.
Alright, here we go. Ready? We're Tango 866 Tango Whiskey. Boise delivery, good evening. Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We're looking to pick up a VFR clearance departing out to the east.
November 866 Tango Whiskey, stand by.
.866 Tango Whiskey today. Thanks for coming along. If you're just joining us, we are on the ground looking to pick up our VFR clearance departing out to the east out of Boise. We're flying up the Snake River. It's a event night here in Vatsim, so it's busy. We got lots of commercial big jets heading out. We're going to try and sneak out. Most of them are going west out to... There's a bunch of California airports staffed up right now. So most of them are going west. We're going to go to the east, but since we're taking off, since they're landing, departing west, basically have to make a loop around the airport. So we'll see. Hopefully they can work us in. And, yeah, we don't have to spend too much time on the ground. But we have plenty of fuel to make it. We got full tanks, full tip tanks, and half full wing tanks here. We can do that too. While Boise coordinates. So yeah, this is a good, interesting place to fly if you're looking for somewhere. This whole area, you've got basically the direction we're going up towards Yellowstone National Park. We're also, if you go south of that, you've got the Grand Tetons and Grand Teton National Park or Jackson Hole Airport for more commercial focused flying. We're out here at Boise. If we go to the west, you basically hit Washington and Oregon. It's probably about hour-and-a-half flight to Redmond, Washington from here. So about the same way, but heading west instead of east. About the same way, heading west instead of east. So lots of traffic this evening. It's good to see. We have, yeah, we'll have to see. I was doing something. That's right. Okay. Wait on them. Let's see if we can get something more interesting on the other frequency. Ground 1217. And then tower is on 1181, it looks like.
November 6 Tango Whiskey, sorry, did you want flight following?
If they can spare it.
November 6 Tango Whiskey, did you want flight following?
Affirmative if they can work us in. If not, no worries.
Oh, okay. Stand by then. Sorry about that.
So yeah, we could get flight following. I don't need it. I mean, it's busy. I'm sure Center's busy. Salt Lake Center's got a lot of arrivals, departures coming this way. So, you know, I'd rather put that on them and say, hey, if you guys can give us flight following, we'll take it. But I don't need it to have a enjoyable time here. But yeah, I just prefer, hey, if they can spare the bandwidth. If not, no worries, we'll just head out. So we got information Charlie on board. I'm not getting anything on my comm 2. I wonder what I have to hit, what button I have to hit. Just messing around with this. I can also get my clock up. Or my timer here. To monitor, where's the panel? Oh, here it is. So I can monitor too. That way. And if we need to shut it off, we just click there. So thank you all for coming along. We're just hanging out on the ramp here, waiting for our clearance to depart out to the east, here out of Boise.
Elite 647, contact Big Sky departure, see ya.
127, looking to pick up IFR to San Francisco.
I couldn't hear.
127, Crown Quest, my number 2, expect a PC.
Roger.
So we got ox fuel pumps in low. Let's go through the rest of our alternators on. Before taxi, we've done our passenger briefing. We're pretty good. We're going to probably go off 28 and just skedaddle out of the way of these big jets. Our avionics are on and flight plans programmed in. Lights, we've got beacon on, strobe. Landing lights taxi lights for taxi. We'll extend the landing lights for departure.
Allegiant 1440, ready for pushback and start.
Agent 1414, contact Boise Ground 121.7, Jeff.
And then,
have a wonderful day, Allegiant 1414.
I'll just queue up ground here. Cabin temperature, let's check it. Looks like it's good. I don't have any heat or air on. It'll probably get a little colder up, so we'll probably have to kick heat on later, but that's fine. Nothing to worry about there. Brakes will release before taxi. Now for takeoff, again, we're relatively heavy today, but it'll be a kind of a normal takeoff, full throttle, 2700 RPM. We'll lean it out a bit for field elevation, so we're at, we'll have to see, we'll do a little bit, yeah, we may be able to, we'll assume the run-up's been done, I'm not going to worry about it, but we'll lean it out a little bit. We're up at 3,800 feet here at field elevation at Boise, going higher, so we'll be pretty lean the whole way. We'll be rotating 83 knots thereabout, lifting off about 92 is what we're going to shoot for on the departure. Of course, we'll be talking to Boise departure. I don't know if we'll be getting north or south, but let's see. Do I have to do something to punch in my Sim Toolkit Pro VFR stuff? What do I have to do here? This is kind of black magic to me, but we could pull it up. As soon as I start doing something, they're going to call me. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to...
November 6 Tango Whiskey, I'm not getting a response from the approach. Would you mind just, like, departing VFR and then picking up flight following in the air?
Yeah, affirmative, no problem.
If you can.
Yeah, affirmative, no problem. 8 Tango Whiskey. Or 6 Tango Whiskey, whatever we are.
November 6 Tango Whiskey, sir, your aircraft type.
We're a Cessna 310R.
Alright, November 6 Tango Whiskey, contact, Boise Ground 121.7 for taxis, yeah.
Alright, we'll contact ground 121.7 for taxis, thanks, bye. Alright, so we're going to ground 121.7 for taxi. Yeah, I'm kind of figured, that's fine. So, Boise Ground, we'll be calling up. So again, just like to rehearse what we're going to say. We are Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We are... I'm going to actually restart my log. We are 866 Tango Whiskey, 6 Tango Whiskey. We are VFR to the east. We have Charlie ready for taxi. So going to ground. We're on ground.
Delta 723, monitor tower 118.1. Good flight.
Let's give him a call.
Tower 18-1, so long, Delta 723.
We should also tell him we're at the GA ramp. Boise Ground, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We are VFR departing out to the east with information Charlie ready for taxi.
November 866 Tango Whiskey, runway 28, Boise Ground, runway 28 left, taxi via Foxtrot Bravo.
28 left via Foxtrot Bravo, 6 Tango Whiskey. All right. All right, so we're at Boise.
Delta 1678, Boise Ground, taxi to ramp via Alpha.
Looking Foxtrot Bravo. So basically, looking at where we are, we're going to be kind of out and to the right. I'm going to look at Sim Toolkit Pro because that's what I like to do. But we're ready to rock. Let's give it a little bit of power. Pull the parking brake. And we are away after only 40 minutes of talking and waiting. And yeah, let's connect to Sim here. Go to the live map. We are here at the GA ramp. I am not sure. This might be actually the taxiway here. A lot of vehicles. No, that's Kilo, so we want to go down to Foxtrot. So Foxtrot here, and then Bravo all the way around. So we are going to be departing into a Class Charlie airspace. Basically, we just have to be talking to the controller and departing out of the field. It's not really any great drama. They're going to hand us off just like as if we were an IFR airplane. One of these big jets heading to California. But I got buses on the road. And we're now on Bravo. So taxi light should also come on. And we'll just keep an eye out for any other airplanes. So again, we got 28 left. That's going to be the one closest to us, I think. Yeah, it is. So I think they're probably shooting the commercial aircraft off of 28 right, from what I can tell. And that just gives us a nice kind of clean runway we can go off of. Now I'm assuming we'll get some departure instructions. We'll fly runway heading or something, and they'll vector us until we're out of the airspace. And then yeah, we'll
1414 ready for taxi to access.
We'll get in the air.
Alicia 1414, runway 28 right, taxi via Alpha, and I confirm Charlie.
We are currently Charlie, and it's going to be 28 right via Alpha.
Thank you.
To Bravo, and then down to Bravo 1. So we don't want to go all the way. If we pull up, that's what I was trying to do originally. We're heading down Bravo. We're coming out of the GA ramp. The terminal is up on the north side. That's where a lot of these guys are. So that's a Delta. There's an Allegiant somewhere. This one, 1414, is the one taxiing to 28 right, probably. They might be. I don't know if they're sending off 2 left too. But that's the main terminal for the commercial flights up here. We're coming out of the GA ramp down here. Yeah. And we get to watch some landings, which is always fun. Although this airplane doesn't have gear. Oh, there it is. And we got a follow me car. I guess they're landing them on 28 left. Interesting. See, that's a stream I don't want to be in front. Now again, I mean, this may not be the last we see of them. Again, if anything goes wrong, if we have any issues, we'll be returning to Boise here as our kind of first option. Looks like he might be doing a go-around. Or they might be doing a go-around. Let's see, who is that? I don't know. We're going to go all the way down to the end of the runway. And let me pull up our guide and... yeah, we're doing normal performance, or we're doing normal takeoff, so no flaps. Before takeoff, parking brake. Not ready yet. We've got good fuel. Fuel selectors are on the main tanks. Alternate air is in. If we come down this way, these should be pushed in. Cow flaps are open. Our trim is set. Man, it's pretty cool. Set for takeoff. Avionics radios are set. We're assuming the run-up's been done already today. Aux fuel pumps are on low. Flight instruments are set. Exterior lights. Once we get the takeoff clearance, we'll light up. And yeah, we'll do all that. Props full forward. We'll lean the mixture a little bit for field elevation. As I'm taxiing, let's just kind of find a good spot for it. Not too much. We're not that high, but we'll lean it out a little bit. And pull up to the runway. Now, tower is 1181, I think. 118.1. And we'll get departure. Well, we'll see what they say. I don't know.
November 866 Tango Whiskey. Contact tower 118.1 when ready.
Or we'll call tower when we're ready. 118.1, thanks. 6 Tango Whiskey. I'm calling it myself 8 Tango Whiskey. I don't know why. Is that a YouTuber plane? Alright, we're good. 118.1 for tower. And we'd better turn our transponder
tower,
on.
hello, FX 23 Heavy is with you on the visual 28 left.
FedEx 23 Heavy, runway 28 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, 28 left, FX 23 Heavy.
This one's actually kind of loud. Let me adjust this.
Delta 2785, traffic is a heavy A300 landing the parallel, caution wake turbulence.
I wish there was an easier way to adjust volume in VPilot.
Well, caution the wake turbulence for 28 left, 28 right, clear for takeoff, Delta 2785.
Alright, and so just going over our call, we're Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We are holding short 28 left for departure, VFR departure to the east. Boise Tower, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We're holding short 28 left, VFR departure out to the east.
Twin Cessna 6 Tango Whiskey, continue holding short runway 28 left.
We'll continue holding short 6 Tango Whiskey. Yeah, I don't know who we're going to get for departure. It could be 1269 or 1196, depending on north or south. Or I'm not sure. We'll probably go south, but we'll punch both in because I'm not a betting one. 126.9. 6.9. And then this one's going to be the other option, which is 1196. So we'll enter that in. And then, again, if we want to just switch, we'll pick the right one and put it in mic 2 and monitor 2. We could also put in, what was south? 1196. I think that's most likely, so we'll put it in our main 1196. All right, so we are ready, holding short of 28 left for departure. Thanks for coming along, everybody.
Twin Cessna 6 Tango Whiskey on departure, fly runway heading. Runway 28 left, clear for takeoff.
Flight runway heading on departure, 28 left, clear for takeoff. Twin Cessna 6 Tango Whiskey.
Delta 2785, contact departure now, 119.6, have a good flight.
Over departure 19.6.
All right, and here we can also get our heading bug set up. We can assume it's going to be about 28. That way we are not relying on my own sense of
Club 169,
straightness.
Correction, Boise Tower. Pilot Club 169, Boise Tower.
Strobes on. Let's take the center line. We got a good wind, so we shouldn't have any problem getting off.
Twin Cessna 6 Tango Whiskey, no delay on the departure. Traffic's on a 4-mile final now.
We're rolling 6 Tango Whiskey.
Pilot Club 169, Boise Tower.
All right, that's 80 knots there. It's a little loud. We're gonna rotate. Car on the runway.
Pilot Club 169, Boise Tower, verify visual 28 left.
You're coming up.
Pilot Club no, 169, no problem. That doesn't exist. We just got the 28 here at Boise. Must have been a mistake. It's all good. Runway 28 left, cleared to land. Traffic's on the roll now. Twin Cessna. All right. Pilot Club. American 3325, runway 28 right, cleared for takeoff. Traffic's on a short final now, Embraer jet. Cleared for takeoff, 28 right for American 3325.
Tower 6 Tango Whiskey, airborne, passing 3,500. All right, let's come back on our throttles, save our engine a little bit. RPM's back into the green.
Tango Whiskey, hang on a sec, I'll get you the turn for the flight following. Correction, just resume navigation.
Roger, resume navigation, 6 Tango Whiskey. All right, so
6 Tango Whiskey, apologies, actually scratch that. Maintain present heading, please.
Roger, we'll maintain present heading as 6 Tango Whiskey. That was a
6
bold.
Tango Whiskey, you can go ahead and contact approach now 126.9. Have a good flight.
26.9, see ya, 6 Tango Whiskey, thanks. All right, so 126.9. I did think own navigation was a bold choice for such a busy airspace. Boise departure. All right, here we go. Boise departure, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We are at 4,500 VFR departing out to the east.
November 866 Tango Whiskey, Big Sky departure, radar contact. Flighting up 350 VFR altitude, your discretion.
Heading 350 VFR, altitude our discretion, 8 Tango Whiskey, 6 Tango Whiskey. Keep saying 8 Tango Whiskey. Whose airplane is that? It's a YouTuber airplane, isn't it? And he gave us 350. So we're going to just come to a 5,000 and leave it for now. And come on up, and then I'll catch up with everybody checking in. So again, it's a busy night here in Boise. In a grand scheme, not that busy. They've got a lot of departure or arrivals for Boise, but fully staffed up Vatsim event. When you get a smaller airport like this, fully staffed up, it is kind of nice. You get to do some different stuff, but it's not quite so hectic as a huge international airport like Boston Logan or something. It's just a little more.
6 Tango Whiskey, traffic set here around 12 o'clock and 5 miles on American Airbus at 9,000.
Looking for the traffic, 6 Tango Whiskey. Or, what do you say, 9 o'clock? 6 miles? Six Tango Whiskey, we at the traffic site.
6 Tango Whiskey, maintain visual separation on the Airbus. Proceed on course and altitude to your discretion. Caution wind turbulence.
All right, we'll keep visual separation, resume on navigation, and VFR altitude at our discretion. 6 Tango Whiskey. All right, I'm going to make a right turn. So again, now we're kind of free to do what we need to do as long as we're looking out for these Airbuses and talking to control. So Ronnie, good morning. Thanks for coming along. You haven't tried the 310R yet. It's a good one, man. It's a fun GA airplane. It looks pretty sleek. But it's smaller than you might, it's smaller than you might think. It's smaller than the 412, I think, and the King Air definitely. So it's a nice kind of fun, small cruising.
40, turn 10 degrees right.
Small cruising airplane.
Just on the right there.
So basically what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of follow the mountain ridge up. They're not going to send the Airbuses that close to it. And we can go out to the south. We're going to fly a little bit over downtown Boise here. And get on out of here. I am the Wolf. Hello. Welcome aboard. It is a fun, cool looking airplane. Yeah, this is the, I'm going to mess it up. This is the topographic map one from flightsim.to, but I slapped my own registration on it in post. So we are VFR out of Boise. We are on our own navigation. We're holding 5,000 feet, and we're going to basically get out of here, and then we'll just kind of gauge. We'll tune into the center and see. We may request flight following. If they're too busy, we won't worry about it. We'll just listen in. It'll be all right. Most of the traffic is coming out to our west, or to our west and the southwest, and we're kind of heading north and east. So we're not much of a conflict other than that. And we're just going to kind of skirt this route. I said we're going to climb up to about 10,000 feet. We can also kind of sort the mixtures here. So I'm in the green on my engines.
40 descent and maintain 8,000. 8,000.
So I am still getting some richness. Haven't got a peak yet. There's the peak. All right, so we'll stay a little rich a peak. I'm just watching that EGT gauge. And again, nominally holding 5,000 feet, although altitude's our discretion at the moment. Just trying to keep an eye out, maintain visual separation from the commercial traffic. You can see it departing out that way, actually. There's one airplane taking off. They called out an American Airbus to us. But again, we're just going to kind of stay out of their way, let them do their thing. Boise, if you look at...
1340, able to maintain your own terrain and obstacle avoidance? Sure hope so. 1340, round to term right, heading of 160, descend and maintain 6,500.
That is reassuring, isn't it?
160 is 6,500.
So I'm going to start climbing a little bit, get some altitude.
1340, the traffic will be following will be at your 12 o'clock and 5 miles into Boeing 737 out of 8,000.
Again, we are 6 Tango Whiskey today. I swear someone's 8 Tango Whiskey.
6 Tango Whiskey, that American Airbus at your 11 o'clock, 5 miles south, westbound, descending for 6,500.
We got the traffic in sight, 6 Tango Whiskey.
Departure, pilot club 12.
So that's him right out there. I think. I'm pretty sure. So again, we're just avoiding the big jets.
Big Sky departure, radar contact.
You can see another one right there. This is actually kind of fun. Airborne plane spotting. See some guys on approach for Boise International.
2 o'clock and 4 miles.
I don't want to watch him land, but I don't want to turn towards him really.
American 1340, follow the Boeing 737, cleared visual approach from a 28.
And I mean, we're VFR right now, so
180 knots until 5 DB.
I might anchor out here. We can do a couple orbits and just kind of watch. I do want to keep climbing. And I'm hand flying still. I haven't turned on the autopilot yet.
Welcome to all 51, expect the visual approach for 28 left.
But we are still, I think we're still in the, well, we might be skirting the outside of the Charlie now. I wonder what the Charlie goes up to. I'm not even too sure because I didn't brief that real well because we were going to be talking to him. So it's surfaced to 6,900.
Tango Whiskey, what's your on-course heading?
We're looking at heading 108 to get on course, 6 Tango Whiskey.
6 Tango Whiskey, roger.
Oh, I've got stutters.
6 Tango Whiskey. That Airbus still at your 12 o'clock and 3 miles. You got him in sight.
Affirmative. We got the traffic. 6 Tango Whiskey.
6 Tango Whiskey. Roger. Maintain visual separation. Conic approach on 119.6.
All right. We'll maintain visual sep 1196. 6 Tango Whiskey.
1340 to towers 118.1.
Tower 18-1. Yes, sir. 1340. 1, turn right heading 040 vectors for traffic.
040, 652. Flight check 2.
We'll descend a little bit.
That was 040.
Affirmative.
Alright, flight check 231.
Flight check 231, also let me know when you have that traffic in sight.
Flight check 231.
Boise departure, Twin Cessna's 866 Tango Whiskey with you, 5,000.
Tango 866 Tango Whiskey, Big Sky approach, roger.
So we're gonna kind of hang out. We'll probably hang out
Flight check 231.
a little bit here.
Flight check 231, roger, follow the traffic, clear visual approach, runway 28 left.
Didn't realize he was coming in.
Clear visual approach, runway 28 left. Flight check 231.
It's a little disorienting. It is funny how much closer it looks when you're just when you get an airplane that looks a little bigger than you think it should. Like, ooh, that looks close. We were definitely, you know, still well separated from that Airbus.
That's at 127 contact tower 118.1. Get
And we're going to be talking. They're going to hand us off to someone else here soon.
Good evening, Kim Benson.
Delta 2587, turn left heading 010.
010, Delta 2587.
All right, so we're out. Well, I think we're legally outside the Charlie now. You can see that. I think that magenta ring here is the very outside of the class Charlie. But we'll back it up and maybe do an orbit while we're watching the traffic here. I do want to just make sure we're set up for success control-wise. Got the throttle leaned. We've got mixture leaned out. We're looking good. We were really cruising there for a second. And it is important. It's hard.
2587, airport is at your 9 o'clock. We'll call it 30 miles, report sites.
It's hard, and
2587, clear visual approach from 28 left.
I do kind of wish I was using my my track IR here. I mean, we even could. It takes not much. But just because it's hard to look around and constantly be looking for traffic, like you kind of need to be doing.
Boys departure, Legion 1414, 6,000 for 16,000.
There we go. So now we've got track IR on.
Legion 1414, Big Sky departure radar contact, climb maintain 16,000, proceed direct to the Vol.
And I'm going to climb up to maybe 10,000 feet.
Direct to the Vol and up to 16,000, Legion 1414.
But the important thing is we just got to look out for these Airbuses and stay out of their way. It's a little... I don't know, the track IR is a little sensitive. So, Wolf, you're starting to like the A380-800. I've never been, I don't know why. I've never been a jumbo jet guy. Maybe I'm just a little too late to that party, generationally. I don't know why, but I love a good 7.6 or a A340. And the 2707 without mods? Well, I mean, it'll, you know, isn't technically a mod. I don't know. I'm afraid Approach has forgotten about us. But not to worry.
Big Sky Approach, good evening. Southwest 3776, descending via the Saddle 4 arrival.
Southwest 3776, Big Sky Approach, expect the visual approach runway 28 left. Maintain 7,000.
And we will keep
visual 28 left, descend maintain 7,000, 3776.
I'm gonna actually
Are we on tower yet?
Show 231, just about to do the contact tower 118.1.
108.1, you have a nice day, approaching 201.
Thank you.
Let me set up my heading first. Let's do that.
Approach Delta 27, flight level 200, descending via the saddle 4, restricted 259.
This is why
Delta 27, Big
this is why
Sky
track IR
approach,
is hard for Microsoft Flight Sim. This is why I don't do it in airliners. I cannot stand track IR in airliners because I can't do all the fiddly buttons. In the fighter jets and like DCS, it's real easy because it's just they have the click spots are more set up for it. This is not set up for it. All right, let's hit that heading. Ooh. Turn on heading mode and we'll hold our altitude here.
So this is 2587, contact tower 118.1, g'day.
And then
Correctional Legion 1414, contact center 120.27, g'day.
120.27 for Legion 1414, have a wonderful day.
You too.
see, this seems a little aggressive. It's climbing out very high. Maybe that'll be a little better. So we'll set up.
Departure United 127, we're out of 5720 for 16000. We weren't given a bid on our concern, so we're just going to FIL.
United 127, Big Sky departure, radar contact. Climb maintain 16,000, proceed direct to Vol.
Alright, 16,000 direct.
I guess they're supposed to be Big Sky departure, so let me call them that. We'll go back down to 5,000. I'm not loving the angle. I could use a little more speed and a little more power. Aviate, navigate, then communicate, right? So we'll keep doing our climb. We will.
3776, amend that altitude, descend and maintain 9,000.
We'll continue to lean it. That's pretty good. So we'll keep leaning it out. I'm going to bring the prop RPM back just a little bit. I'm trying to be a little conservative with the engines. Last time I fried them on stream. Big Sky departure. So I'm going to call them and say, hey, Big Sky departure, should we be with center? Big Sky departure, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. Should we be with center?
Tango 866 Tango Whiskey was just about to do that, contact center 120.27.
12027, 6 Tango Whiskey, thanks. All right, so 6 Tango Whiskey. We're well outside of the
Center 127, contact center 120.27, good day.
Alright, 12027 for United 127, what's the
Delta 120, Delta 27, expected visual approach from 128 left.
What did we say? 12. You ever say read back a clearance? I can't remember what the frequency was. 1925. I think, but what I'll do is basically listen for a little bit. We're under no obligation to talk to him at this point. So I just want to listen for a little bit and, yeah, basically pick up what airplanes are around him. So, like, if he calls out Delta 210, we know we're kind of in the right direction. Or Walker 671 or something like that. So I'm getting a beep. I'm not sure why, but it's probably not good. So let's bring our vertical speed down a little bit. That's probably altitude capture. Alright, I can't do this anymore, sorry. I like the idea of track IR. I love it in DCS, but just in these... in GA planes and planes with small knobs and dials, I can't. It's hard. But we're pretty well outside the clearance of Boise at this point, so...
Aircraft calling Salt Lake, say again.
So thank y'all for coming along. We've departed outside. We've departed out of Boise, climbing up to 10,000 feet. And, yeah, basically we're going to listen in on air traffic control the rest of the way. We may call them for flight following. I'm not sure I have the right one, the right frequency, though, if I can't hear the planes. 12027.
Center, SkyWest 3223 is back.
KWYS 3223, welcome back.
So that's 3223. They're kind of southeast of us. So that's actually promising. The other center frequency is 120275. 120275.
Center lead 647, did we miss a handoff?
Wait, 647, not yet. I'm just waiting for Oakland to take it.
Okay, so yeah, we're supposed to be on the other one because he's talking about a guy crossing into Oakland Center.
Salt Lake City Center, American 457, with 5010.
Sorry, aircraft calling Salt Lake, where are you?
We're headed to Boise, about halfway from Field Center.
American 457 on the wrong frequency. Contact Salt Lake on 120.27, 2027.
Got it, 120.27 for
Delta 210, radar contact loss. Walker 2317, welcome to Jackson, taxi ramp via Charlie. How's it going?
Ramp via Charlie.
Springbok 204, have radar indicating area of precipitation about your 12 o'clock, 20 miles, extending left to right about 50 miles. And let me know if you want to deviate.
This is tricky, you know.
Was that for KWYS 3223?
Negative for Springbok 204.
Oh, maybe we can't hear him. So Springbok 204, that's...
3223. Actually, I do have a area of light to moderate precipitation off your 11 o'clock, about 20 miles in diameter in the next 10 miles or so. Let me know if you want to deviate.
Negative. It looks like we're going to be hitting the very edge of it. We should be fine. It's looking good on our end.
Roger. Boeing 39 Salt Lake. Boeing 39, yeah, just wanted to make sure you're still there. Looks like you disconnected for a while, then reconnected. Roger. Springbok 204, Denver Center is offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved. See ya.
So basically, I'm just going to call him up and say, just my call sign and maybe request. Salt Lake Center, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey request.
Twin Cessna calling Salt Lake Center, setting your call sign.
Twin Cessna in November 866 Tango Whiskey.
866 Tango Whiskey, Salt Lake Center, state request.
866 Tango Whiskey, we're about 50 southeast of Boise, looking to pick up a flight following if able.
6 Tango Whiskey, the crew looks like the other Salt Lake Center controller has track on you. Contact Salt Lake on 120.27.
All right, we'll go 12027. Thanks, 6 Tango Whiskey. God, who is 8 Tango Whiskey? I can't. It's someone. It's a YouTuber. I don't know. So all my powers of deduction, and that's what we get. We get the busier center.
457, that's approved. Let me know when you're back. Malicious 1, connect to Oakland Center, 127.905. Good night.
127.905. Thanks for the ATC, Malicious 1.
Salt Lake Center, SkyWest 3360 at flight level 350.
SkyWest 3360, Salt Lake Center, good evening. Walker 767, connect Big Sky approach, 119.6, good night.
Big Sky 19, 6 Walker 767, we'll see.
All right, so yeah, what are we? 6 Tango Whiskey. Salt Lake Center, good evening. Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey request.
Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey, Salt Lake Center, go ahead.
866 Tango Whiskey, we're looking to pick up VFR flight following, if able.
November 866 Tango Whiskey, Salt Lake Center, roger. And do you want to stay at 10,000 for the requested VFR altitude, or do you want to go anywhere else?
10,000 is good for us. 866 Tango Whiskey.
For 866 Tango Whiskey, roger. And maintain VFR.
All right, we'll maintain VFR 6 Tango Whiskey.
That's 1144, contact, correction, contact Big Sky approach, 119.6, yeah.
196, Southwest 1144, good night.
That was probably just verify real quick. You did verify your 5774.
Pilot Club 74 did not catch that. And IFR cancellation received, squawk and maintain VFR, frequency change approved. Okay.
I was just saying, sorry about that. I had trouble with my autopilot.
So thank you all for coming along this evening. It's just a kind of fun, chill flight.
Center,
310 OR.
457 is back at...
Won the poll. It is nice to sit back, fly a GA plane like this for a little bit. Flying over central Idaho. Let's see. I want to say it's the Snake River Valley, but I don't know that for a fact. So I got to do some Wikipediaing. So
Southwest 2252, contact Oakland Center.
Let's look at Boise.
127.905. Good night. Salt Lake Center, American 457 requesting descent. American 457 descend via the Cayenne 3 arrival, Boise landing west, the Boise altimeter 2970. We'll descend via the Cayenne 3
southwestern
arrival
Idaho.
and the Boise.
So that's the treasure belt.
723, contact Seattle Center 135.45. Good night. 3545, Southwest 2252, Oakland Center 127.905.
The Snake River Plain. I knew it was something like that.
Salt Lake Center, good evening. SkyWest 3223, sending through 2.
Who is 8 Tango Whiskey? Is that angle of attack? No.
We were given 250 as the assigned altitude.
I deeply want to say it.
Salt Lake Center, good evening. Descent maintain flight level 190, when able, say approach request into Freeman. Descend 190, and we would like the RNAV 31 Yankee into Freeman. Gas 3223, roger, you can expect that. November 866 Tango Whiskey, I've got your destination airport filed as West Yellowstone, is that correct?
That's affirmative, 6 Tango Whiskey.
Walker 671, contact Big Sky approach 126.9er.
Big Sky 1269, Walker 69, chance, yeah.
Thanks, Delta ADD, step away for 5 minutes.
Delta 880, that's approved, let me know when you're back.
I'll call that Delta ADD.
So yeah, so this and the Honda Jet have been a good change of pace for me.
Are we still with you, or did you hand us off? We might have missed it.
I've been enjoying the 737, really good airliner. Really enjoying that on Vatsim. I think New York's event tomorrow is in the morning, so I might take it out on that.
2785, you're still with me for about 2 more minutes. I'll let you know when.
I mean, yeah, the 310R, it's a really great GA airplane. I do really like this livery too. I'll have to link it. I even like the kind of panel. It's like it's wrapped. It's pretty cool.
Checking in southeast of Minot, contact Salt Lake Center 125.
So as you may have heard, we're 866 Tango Whiskey today. I keep wanting to say 8 Tango Whiskey.
Salt Lake Southwest 5191. Are we over to Big Sky?
Southwest 50.
But this is a fun place, fun part of the world to fly in if you like mountains.
A little bit ago, but try Big Sky 119.6.
You know, you have some airports, Salt Lake City,
Over to Big Sky 196.
Bozeman,
If it's been having some problems, don't worry about it.
and Boise, obviously.
2252 if you're up. Oakland 127.905.
So we're coming up. We're not actually in nav mode either, so we're in
Center Southwest 790 level 16000.
VLOC, so I can actually put us on the nav frequency. What's the heading? 109er?
Southwest 790 Salt Lake, good evening. Climb and maintain, flight level 360.
Climb and maintain level 360 Southwest 790.
And again,
Salt Lake, hello, Lufthansa 453, heavy level 330.
Move down to 453 Salt Lake Center, good evening.
and again, we're just we're gonna overfly the field Gooding, I think it is. We'll see if we can see it.
2022 Salt Lake Center, good evening.
But no, just a cool part of the world. Some, you know, natural, some natural beauty, mountains, plains, rivers. It's all good stuff.
And Center, United 41.
United 41, go ahead.
Sir, I just talked to the other centering 12595. They told me I'm supposed to be with you. Right overhead of Jessica waypoint right now. While I want to reach here.
United 41, I'm sorry, I thought you were checking in southeast of Minot in North Dakota. I see you now. Welcome aboard.
But yeah, lots of great airplanes is, I guess, the moral.
85, contact Oakland Center, 125.85, good night.
2585, Delta 2785, we'll see you.
For 624 Golf Juliet, sorry that's a little late. Descend and maintain 17,000 and good rate down, please.
17,000, we'll give you a good rate for Golf Juliet.
Alright, so we're about set up now.
Got 3223, descend and maintain 13,000. 13,000 and 3223.
Now just doing a pass at the chart and just seeing what we're looking at. Let's pull over to Sky Vector. We're coming up on Gooding Municipal here. The river is off to our right. You can kind of see where the farms are. That's where the river is. And we're actually passing over the field right there. So that's Gooding Municipal. And we're going to make a left-hand turn, 083 nautical miles. Of course, you can't see it because it's not on stream, but there it is. The Gooding Municipal. Single runway. But yeah, so we're passing that now. We're going to make a left-hand turn, 083.
Sky was 33.
Or 077, I should say.
3 arrival, Boise landing west, the Boise altimeter 2970.
83 nautical miles. And then our visual reference is going to be this reservoir.
Via the Cayenne 3 arrival, Boise landing west, altimeter 2970.
The American Falls Reservoir here. Pocatello Airport.
457, connect Big Sky approach, 126.9 good night.
Going to 126.9 for American 457.
So PIH there. Pocatello.
Sky was 3223, proceed direct ORI if you're not already.
And, yeah, so American Falls.
Direct ORI 3223.
And, yeah.
3325, connect Oakland Center, 125.85 good night.
Otherwise, we're just over the Snake River Plains.
3325 will see you.
Delta 723, itinerary 8, connect Seattle Center, 135.45.
So thank you all for coming along on this kind of VFR cruise here in the 310R. Good fun airplane. Perfectly Vatsim capable. And just the exercise going through.
624 Golf Juliet, if you're able to send via the Saddle 4 arrival, there it is, Saddle 4 arrival, Boise landing west.
It's just to get exercise too.
I understand if you can't make the restriction.
Knocking off some of the rust.
Or the next waypoint ahead restriction.
4 Golf Juliet, just send via the Saddle, we'll get it their best shot.
Oops.
For 4 Golf Juliet, thanks for the help. Speed, your discretion to get down. Contact Big Sky approach, 119.6.
But this would also be a fun place for a Honda Jet.
4 Golf Juliet.
Light 2. So we may try and do maybe a little bit of a Honda jet check ride.
3223 is, call it 10 miles from Ori, across Ori at or above.
What's our ground speed right now?
9,000. Clear to RNAV Yankee, runway 31 approach.
We're making good speed, 193. I'm trying not to push it, trying not to fry our engine, so I'll bring it back to a nice cruise.
Cross Ori at or above 9,000. Clear the RNAV, runway 31 at Haley, SkyWest 3223.
Still got 250 pounds in both tanks. We weren't going to go to aux tanks. Now they say, so 310, they say first 90 minutes of flight you should be on the mains. We're probably going to be flying for about 90 minutes. Most of our fuel's in the mains, so I'm not, you know, worried about switching over to the aux tanks yet. If we do a longer flight, maybe. But we've been in the air probably, I didn't start my timer. Not a very good pilot.
Requesting step away for about 4 minutes.
Southwest 790. That's approved. Let me know when you're back.
Holy, thanks.
Alexander, good evening. Welcome 542 390. Walker 542, Selling Center, good evening.
There it is.
Delta 880 span.
Delta 880, roger, thank you.
Salt Lake Center, pilot club 5050 to flight level 220.
5 Club 5050, Salt Lake Center, good evening.
Key line 221, request leave the cockpit for about 7 minutes.
Key line 221, that's approved. Let me know when you're back.
Volca key line 221.
And Lufthansa 453 Heavy, maybe leave for about 20 to 25 minutes.
Lufthansa 453, let me, I'm going to need a handoff for you here in the next 2 minutes or so. Let me see if I can't get that early. Stand by.
Well then we'll stay here. 2 minutes you said, right?
Yeah, 2 to 3.
Alright, we'll stay here.
Alright, so we're on our way into West Yellowstone. Not too early to start thinking about the airport.
Lake United 457, did we miss a handoff?
So,
United 497, I'll have one for you in about 60 seconds.
Alright, thanks.
So I don't have an airport diagram here, which is interesting. Now, as far as, we do have an RNAV approach for 19, we do have an ILS localizer for 19.
Approach 119.6, yeah.
19.6 for United 497, thanks.
We'll have to pull up the chart.
453, contact Salt Lake Center 125.902 and let them know of your request to step away.
2592, and thank you very much. Have a good evening. Full punch.
It is funny that this is the best I can pull up. But we've been there too. It's a single runway 1/19, and let's get a new METAR here. We get broken clouds 8,500.
3223, wind 220 at 9er, gust 21.
Broken at 11,000. Looks like wind is 010.
Clear to land, SkyWest 3223.
At 10.
3360, contact Big Sky approach 126.9er, see ya.
Over to Big Sky, 126.9er, SkyWest 3360, thank you.
So, it looks like we're on runway 1. Maybe. Yeah, looks like we're at runway 1. So we'll plan on that. Runway 1 will, come in.
Center United 41, stepping up for 3 minutes.
We do have an ILS for runway 1. We could.
41, that's approved. Let me know when you're back.
We could shoot that ILS.
41, thank you.
If we want to. Might be worth doing, just to practice with this airplane. The ILS localizer chart is this guy here. So yeah, we'd be basically at 10,100. Yeah. So coming in at 10,100, 9,000 descending, 6.9 nautical miles from the airfield, and the field elevation is a cool 6,649 feet. So we will expect that. The other thing we can do, I guess we could look at Idaho Falls Regional. A little gustier there, but 29083, so not too far off in terms of METAR. And of course, I'm letting my guard down with this. Let's fix all this stuff up too. Sync my heading bug.
It's up with 790 is back.
And my course line.
So 790, roger, thanks.
Really nice day for it. Weather.
And Center, good afternoon, Delta 1709. With
I like it when Flight Sim gives me the cloudy icon over the live weather.
1709 Salt Lake Center, good evening, climb and
That's
maintain
nice and
flight level
sunny.
400.
Climb maintain flight level 400, Delta 1709.
You know, just making me second guess my flight plan. So yeah, this
Delta 1709,
6 Tango Whiskey.
Looks like there's a bit of a flight data issue with
We
the
are
aircraft type.
out of... We departed out of Boise about 45 minutes ago.
1709.
Heading up to West Yellowstone Airport, KWYS, up the Snake River Plain here. We're basically VFR with, I don't know if we've formally gotten flight following yet, I don't think so, but we're on the horn with Salt Lake Center at the moment. They're doing a Vatsim event into Boise, and a bunch of other California airports, San Joaquin, FNO, I think it is, Friday Night Ops. So it's busy traffic, kind of the other way. We're going to the east. So most of the traffic into and out of Boise is going southwest. We're heading out to the northeast, so we're well clear of all that. But it is a fun exercise, squeezing your GA plane in. It's actually not hard.
55449er, Sonic Salt Lake Center, 125.9.
Especially if you're not trying to get flight following on the ground.
2592, we'll see you at 449. Legion 1414, connect to Oakland Center, 125.85, good night.
125.85 for Legion 1414, what you do?
Salt Lake City Center, good afternoon, Walker 270, 50330.
That's all pretty good.
Walker 270, Salt Lake Center, good evening.
And Center Walker 270, request 15 minutes out.
Walker 270, approved, let me know when you're back.
Roll report back, Walker 270.
Legion 47, cross Winnan, at and maintain, flight level 320.
So where's our, we can do some virtual plane spotting here. Stool and Toolkit Pro. That's where we departed out of.
47 came back, it's just static, just for my confirmation, cross
Boise.
Winnan, at and maintain, flight level
We're down here now.
Winning at 32 Legion 47.
There's some precipitation out around here. There's some clouds up ahead of us. We'll see. I'm seeing a floor of about 8,500 in the METAR, but we'll see. We're about halfway there, just north of Twin Falls. There's a couple divert airfields along the Snake River we can go to if the weather is bad up ahead. So I'm not too worried about it, and we can always go lower to get into West Yellowstone, which is up here somewhere. So obviously the FNO is at Boise. Lots of traffic on the ground at Boise, but also kind of you can see the network here. We're kind of out in the northeastern side. It's mostly these airports in here in California. California's just a bit more congested, so that's why we're up here in the west. Looking at the rest of the country, though, we got some storms. Line of storms out here over, you know, Colorado, Kansas, and another set of storms over the southeast. Yeah, and ZJX and ZTL. And a nice big one over South Florida, although not controlled at the moment. And yeah, I think New York has something going on tomorrow morning, earlier. Maybe not morning, but earlier in the day.
And I'm sending United 41 back with you.
United 41, roger, thank you.
So yeah, we are about 47 miles from our next waypoint, which is the airport. It's a small airport, U-36.
The Pocatello altimeter 2982.
2982 at Pocatello, 866 Tango Whiskey. 2982 is what they said. So we'll throw that there. So yeah, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. So that's, you know, not too far off. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, lots of good planes, not enough time to fly. Sam, could I make the best video? Could I make a video on the best VFR routes? You know, that's something I've kicked around. It's a question of what the best format to do that's in. There are definitely a lot of good ones. There are a lot of good ones that I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if you're ever looking for inspiration, some of the cool, I always look at the real life. The real life GA YouTubers usually have some pretty good ideas. There's a bunch of them out there. But yeah, there's definitely, I could definitely put together some of my favorites. It would definitely be worth doing, I think.
Center, Boeing, November 3 Whiskey Sierra, checking
Some of these would be up here. I don't know about this one. It's a little long and flat, but...
November 3 Whiskey Sierra, Salt Lake Center, good evening. And did you want flight level 390 or do you want...
Like West Yellowstone, where we're going to Jackson Hole would be a fun one.
We'll take it.
You basically get down through Yellowstone National Park and Grand Teton. There's probably some other ones. I mean, out in Utah, I'm sure. Like Monument Valley would be a good one. Grand Canyon.
And maintain 390 for Whiskey Sierra.
So the answer, I mean, yeah, obviously, I could. There's definitely a lot of them. You might have to break it up by section of the states.
Hello, Walker 802 flight
I don't know. There's probably a right way to do it.
Walker 802 Salt Lake Center, good evening.
I debated doing some. What I really want to do is a longer trip. Like a multi-leg trip where we're going point to point to point to point. I just haven't started it. I think well, actually, that's not true. We did start it with the Boeing 247, but we didn't get very far because the wind blew us back into Chicago. But like this airplane, the Cessna 310 would be perfect for something like that. So I'm thinking about doing like Southwest Chief, Chicago down through Missouri and Colorado and New Mexico
Salt Lake Center,
in this airplane.
United 801, 11,300, climbing 16,000.
It could be fun. But yeah, that's a good idea. Sam.
United 801 Salt Lake
Welcome
Center,
aboard.
climb to maintain flight level 360.
Climb to maintain flight level 360, United 801.
Well, thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. I enjoy making them. There's lots of fun places to go here. I mean, it is a crazy, just the VFR scenery especially, it's crazy. This altitude's even a little high for it, but like at like 5,000 feet, it's just looks great in most places. So we're 6 Tango Whiskey, heading out to West Yellowstone. Let me get a new ATC scratch pad. We're talking to Salt Lake Center on 120-275. We did have good ATC out of Boise. Boise wasn't a very, it wasn't very dramatic. They just put us onto we did have to scoot in front of a landing big airplane. It's Sam, you're having issues with the Milviz, slamming it on landing. Yeah. That's something, I did that just the other day. It actually turned out to be like, it was only like 250 feet per minute. So there's a couple things with the Milviz, with the Cessna 310. First of all, the suspension, the landing gear design does you no favors. It makes it feel hard no matter how lightly you touch down, really. I mean, some people can really do it well, but... So first of all, the landing gear makes it seem and feel worse than it is. Second, yeah, if you pull the power too early, it doesn't float. It will drop like a rock. So you really have to bring it all the way down and then pull the power out at like the last second. So it takes... It's not, if you're slamming the 310... You're not alone. We might do it here today. We'll see. You could very well see a nice slamming landing today. But, as they say, any landing you can walk away from is better than one you can't.
Key line 221, contact Oakland Center, 125.85. Good night.
So our big visual reference might be coming up here next. That's going to be that reservoir here, American Falls. We've got the Pocatello altimeter. We're basically just going to stay on the west side of that reservoir when we make our left-hand turn. And then, yeah, we're starting to think about going into West Yellowstone. Once we're going into West Yellowstone, we might,
Salt Lake Center,
I don't know, we might set ourselves up for the ILS for West Yellowstone. We're flying VFR today.
Pilot Club 823, Salt Lake
But we could just, we might cancel flight following and do an shoot an ILS.
Pilot Club 5050, descend via
VFR, just practice it.
Boise landing west, the Boise altimeter 2970.
Descend via the Saddle 4, arrival, Pilot Club 5050.
So West Yellowstone is, you know, an untowered airport. So we're kind of on our own at that point. But we are VFR right now with flight following. Puna Muna, hello. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. We are cruising out of Boise over the Snake River Plain in the U.S. state of Idaho.
Number 866 Tango Whiskey, contact, connect Salt Lake Center, 125.902. Good night.
125.902 for 6 Tango Whiskey. Good night. So this is the one we called earlier in mistake. So let's call him up, 925.
At or above 900,000, cleared RNAV Yankee, runway 12 approach.
So yeah, we are going to check in now with Salt Lake Center. I'm out to the, well, out to the east.
Kilo Alpha, Salt Lake.
And I'm just cruising at 10,000. It's a relatively conservative altitude here. We're a little high. The terrain, as we go further east, is going to start coming up to us. So it's going to get higher and higher as we get closer to Yellowstone. Those of you who aren't familiar, we do have a video on flying in Yellowstone, West Yellowstone, from that airport. I should, you know, some shameless self-promotion. That's available on our channel, SimPilot's Guide to West Yellowstone. So we're calling Salt Lake Center. Salt Lake Center, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey, 10,000.
Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey, hello.
All right, so we've checked in. Sam, you were an IFR guy until you... Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad. It's always fun. I mean, just
6 Tango Whiskey, Idaho Falls, altimeter is 2982.
2982 at Idaho Falls, 6 Tango Whiskey. Don't really have to read that back, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, I think a healthy mix is always good, but yeah, I enjoy flying different things. There's just so many cool ways you can fly flight sims. It's just, as, you know, Microsoft Flight Simulator X-Plane, it's one game, but there's many, many different ways to fly it. I enjoy the IFR stuff, you know, the hardcore airliner stuff. It's really interesting to learn how that system works, but it is nice to do these VFR cruises too. And just, yeah, learning, for me, the big thing that makes VFR more interesting is learning how the airspaces work. You know, it's easier than going point A to point B. And it's just slightly different. And I need to fly it more in Vatsim. I don't do a lot of VFR on Vatsim. Vatsim's a lot of
360 Kilo Alpha
IFR traffic.
Salt Lake
but
Center, how do you hear?
So Punamumu, you want to try Vatsim, but yeah, the fear of messing up when you're talking to ATC is a real thing, definitely. And you know, my best advice is to, well, there's two pieces of advice. I was that way not that long ago.
Salt Lake, loud and clear.
Let me turn these guys down a little bit. So, yeah, getting on Vatsim.
Alpha cross these at or above.
They're really loud.
8,000 cleared. RNAV Yankee runway 12.
So,
approach.
the best thing you can do for Vatsim, in my opinion, there's a couple things. Pick somewhere in the world you want to fly, and then listen to those ATC conversations. You could do it in real life with something like live ATC. It'll give you a feel for like the flow and some of the language, right? We say when you're flying this stuff, you'll hear a lot of the same words.
That's approved.
So listen to other people do it. Watch live streamers fly. That's how I learned, really. Monkey see, monkey do. And then just, you know, kind of have that conceptual understanding of the airspace.
Additionally, there's going to be about, in about 100 miles, there's going to be area of light to moderate precipitation extending along your route travel for another 15 miles. So let me know if you want to deviate.
So, yeah. Anyway, nothing really to be afraid of. But yeah,
out of travel for next, starting next 50 miles for another 50
if
miles.
it's something you're interested in, definitely listen. Listen to people do it. Like, listen to this is good. You can tune in, get on Vatsim, take the initial stuff as an observer, and log in at an airport you want to fly at and listen to it for a while.
Walker 2317, proceed direct Idaho Falls.
And you will get a you'll get a pretty good sense of what people are saying. You know, a lot of the normal stuff. It's kind of complicated from the outside going in, but really an IFR flight planning, and
let me know if you have another request.
There's a lot of nuance to it, but the basics are pretty simple. I mean, it's who are you, where are you, what do you want, and then yeah, everyone, and especially on Vatsim, it's such a heavy IFR network. Most people flying airlines are doing very similar things, and that said, I fly a lot in the U.S. I haven't flown in Europe. You know, that's one thing I haven't done. So it's slightly different depending on where you are. I think American controlling tends to be laid back is the wrong word, but they talk faster and there's more shorthand, I think. Whereas in Europe, it's a lot more precise phraseology. You know, if you're calling up
1839 Salt Lake Center, good evening, squawk 6010.
Like an initial call up in Europe, they want to hear your stand number, your QNH, your aircraft type. But you know, in the States, usually I call up something like call sign, I'm picking up IFR, and
360 Papa Golf.
My phrase is looking to pick up IFR to Atlanta, got Charlie on board. It's that simple. So it just depends on where you are in the world too. So that's something you should look out for. If you learn a lot of, if you watch a lot of European streamers then fly in the U.S., it's going to be a little different. But that's
Archer's one departure.
It's all kind of the same. And it isn't rocket science.
Departure frequencies with me, squawk 6071.
So Sam, you started with text and shifted to voice transmission. You also track VOR to VOR, which is pretty cool. I like doing that in the DC-6 a lot, but it's hard with VOR to VOR is hard when the modern airspace on Vatsim, because really modern U.S. airspace isn't designed to track VOR to VOR anymore, really, airport to airport in a commercial sense. So it's kind of hard when you're flying on something like Vatsim. So I like to lean on the GPS a little bit. But yeah, you went text to voice. That's one way you can do it. I think text would be really hard. If you can get past the initial call up and just kind of listen and learn. My first call up, I was stumped by the controller. He asked me what kind of equipment I had, and I didn't know how to answer that question on my A320, I think. So I spent a good 4 or 5 minutes before asking what he meant. So it happens. It's not a big deal. Everyone learns. As long as you keep it brief and keep your transmissions brief, try to learn it, and yeah. When in doubt, get out of the way. You'll be just fine. Sam, you don't use Vatsim for VFR, but you get issues with SIDS and stars. Yeah. I mean, SIDS and stars are a weird one. The thing with SIDS and stars, what I find is the best thing to do is just go on FlightAware. So if you're filing a sim brief flight plan in the US, you can click on FlightAware, and I just take the FlightAware route, whatever SIDS and stars those are, because that's what they're flying in real life, and that's what the controllers look at. So, like, that's how they look it up. Most of them, I think. They're often looking at FlightAware to just see what the real-life world is doing.
You know, the 1839, radar contact, about...
So, Punamuna, VFR is easier. But if you want to fly airliners, you should listen. I think you should just go in. There's not a lot of crossover between VFR and Vatsim and IFR and Vatsim. VFR and Vatsim isn't even that realistic, really. You might call up, if you want to get over the initial hump of talking to someone, VFR is an easy way to start. But if you,
1839 radar contact.
If you're set on IFR, just learn the IFR stuff, because it's not a lot of crossover. In the real world, you spend 40 to 100 hours doing VFR work to learn a real plane. So you start with VFR naturally in the real world, and then go to IFR when you're getting your instrument rating. But here on Vatsim, no, it's not that VFR can't teach you anything, but they're just different animals. Flight planning and all the clearances and everything. So I think I did one VFR flight when I started on Vatsim. I did one VFR flight, Fresno out to Mammoth and Yosemite. And all I talked to was basically Fresno Tower. And after that, every other flight, you know, most of my other flights are IFR. So if you want to get your feet wet, talk to someone on Vatsim, you can start out VFR. But VFR has its own kind of rules, and it's a little bit less clear, and it might even be a little harder on Vatsim to fly VFR, just because there's a little bit more uncertainty. Like, you have to kind of know when to talk to the controllers, when to call them up, what flight following is. It's kind of all stuff that, if you're really interested in airliner flying, it just doesn't come up. So that's not how you do it in the real world. That's not how you really fly. That's not how you really learn how to fly. You go VFR to IFR, but in Vatsim, it's fine. And yeah, so Sam, you sometimes have trouble with getting clearance for VOR to VOR tracking. Yeah, that's another thing. It's just, it's, you know, kind of there's some tension between historical ways of flying, but national airspace really isn't designed for that anymore. Really? They're trying to phase out some of that stuff in favor of GPS-based approaches. But it is interesting. It's just, 50 years ago, you would have a much easier time tracking VOR to VOR everywhere. But because of GPS, they can decommission some of those VOR stations, and, you know, they have other arguably better ways to manage traffic and navigate. But it is an interesting skill still, certainly. All right, so we've made our turn. We're over the reservoir now. So that's the American Falls Reservoir. We've got another about 40 miles, or maybe 125 miles, up to West Yellowstone. Making a decent ground speed, 177 knots. That might give us a little power. And just make some better speed here. But yeah, we're just cruising here. VFR and Vatsim.
1907, wind 26010.
Flight following courtesy of Salt Lake Center. I'm going to try and equalize ATC volume here. It's just, I do wish I could have some way to manage the volume for VPilot better than just going through the system. Does it get hot in that plane? Well, let's check on our passengers. Well, right now the passengers are cold. So actually, we need to turn on our passengers are not happy with us. We need to turn on heat and cabin air, temp control, a little warmer. No defrost needed.
Okay, third question 2318, that's approved.
So Radu, that is a negative. It's actually cold in the moment, but that's actually a fun feature of this too. I wish the 737 had this. I wish some of the other airplanes had this kind of thing. It just
260 Papa Golf.
It's a small thing, but it gives me a reason to fiddle with another knob that I normally wouldn't. But yeah, I would imagine it gets kind of hot on the ground because it's black.
260 Kilo Alpha Roy 12 clear to land.
I don't know. I'd imagine it gets pretty hot. Cruising in our 310R. I haven't retracted my landing lights because I'm not a good aviator. Let's get that drag out of here. We've got strobes on. Everything's good here. No de-ice needed. We can bring our
turn left heading 280.
Fuel pumps off. They could have come off a while ago. And again, we're coming up maybe on 75, 80 minutes. So we could turn to aux tanks maybe on this route, on this leg of the route. Or we're holding at 10,000 feet. We got flight following courtesy of Salt Lake Center. Out here flying the last leg here from, we departed Boise a little while ago. We're heading up to West Yellowstone out that way, which is kind of a smallish, it's not that small, untowered airport just to the west of Yellowstone National Park here in the United States. Flying through Idaho. Is West Yellowstone Airport in Idaho? I don't know. I think so. No, it's in Gallatin County, Montana. So it is cool. I think we have
55449er.
I think we have the freeware scenery.
Area of moderate to heavy precipitation, starting from 20 miles west of Crazy Woman, exiting for another 80 miles.
Let me get a little bit of light on the panel.
And let me know if you want to deviate.
Oh, it should be fine for now, but thanks so much for letting us know.
Where's that airplane? Tango Whiskey 032, I don't know. So here's the radar picture if you're...
542-390.
Walker 542, Salt Lake, hello.
We got a little bit of scattered precip. The big weather thing that we're going to hit is clouds. We're at, we're VFR, so we need to stay out of the clouds. We are, but we do have METARs reporting a floor of... I guess it's down to few clouds at 10,000. We'll check Idaho Falls, no clouds. There's a line of clouds out here in front of us. We'll just have to there's basically been a line of clouds at 8,000 to 10,000, 11,000 feet we'll have to watch out for. If we have to descend, we have to descend.
Papa Golf, radar contact, climb and maintain, follow 430, direct arches.
We have fuel.
Okay, climb to 430, direct arches.
We're not leaking fuel out of the aux tanks, that's good.
Salt Lake City, United 1839?
United 1839, Salt Lake.
Yeah, requesting the RNC approaching to runway 30 at Missoula if it's possible, and a direct to taxi.
United 1839.
So you can see,
request standby.
you can see Jackson Hole Airport down here, KJC. That's a good one for private jets, if you're really interested in that. It's a fun place to go.
Yeah,
Basically,
1839, sure. Proceed direct Pixie, and you can expect the RNAV runway 30 approach.
basically Jackson Hole is only airport in a national park in the United States. Only commercial airport. So you do get like Allegiant, I think, flies there. There's a couple airlines that fly to Jackson Hole. I should be a good pilot and change my course line.
Got a 490, fortunate to hear that, but have a good night.
So yeah, definitely a fun GA airplane. Looking for it. I do like that it can kind of cruise nicely, but it's also not a huge airplane either. It's still pretty small. Still pretty sporty. And yeah, it's showing about halfway. Is that the Zulu time now? Yeah. So it's showing about 30 minutes left in our flight. That's probably about right. We could give it even a little more power. But making a ground speed 190 knots, which is pretty good.
Welcome 2318 air back up.
Now, if we wanted to tune a VOR for fun, we could pick one out. Let's see.
American 1907. Having gear ready, your radar contact. Proceed direct. Idaho Falls, climb, maintain, follow 340.
So Idaho Falls is the one we left on 11385. We're not really tracking outbound from it, but if we wanted to pull something up on our DME, we could. And then Du Bois 1169 could also be a interesting 116.9. Kind of another one. There's not really anything up here that I can see other than, you know, Jackson Hole here. And then basically, yeah, West Yellowstone here. And then if you keep flying up the valley, you can get to Bozeman, BZN here. Bravo Zulu November. They were having some ATC on, I saw, I think last weekend, was it? They were flying, they had Boise staffed up nicely. Or, sorry, Bozeman staffed up nicely.
That's 2318, welcome back. Contact Salt Lake on 120.27. Yeah.
That's another fun, smaller place you could fly if you want to. They get commercial flights. Maybe a 737 flight. What do they have at Bozeman? Let's pull up FlightAware. KBCN. And so this is kind of also, I mean, if in case you're wondering, you know, how do I figure out where to fly? This is one thing you can do, something like FlightAware or Flight Radar 24. You know, who flies into Bozeman and when? Or where's Bozeman flying to at the moment? So, like, you've got an Allegiant going to Nashville in A320. Hey, we have an A320 in Sim. Oh, we got a Southwest 737 for Las Vegas, heading to Las Vegas if you want to do Bozeman to Las Vegas. That's a good one. What else we got? 739 to Seattle. Might be a little stretch for our 737-700, but, you know, never know. Is that a Turbo Aero going to another airport in Montana? Delta to Minneapolis. So if you wanted, you know, we could go to Bozeman Flight Tracker. But it's just a good way to figure out, hey, Bozeman's a cool place. SkyWest E75 and Embraer. That could be a CRJ flight to Denver. Southwest 203 to Denver. So that's a good one. Just a fun way I like to find flights. It's a cool tool. Also good for telling where, you know, if you're in the real world. If you're unsure of which way your airport is landing, it's good to check out FlightAware, see, you know, what's the real world doing. Not necessarily what they're doing on Vatsim, but it's a decent bet. So thank you all for coming along and sticking around with us as we do our VFR flight up to Yellowstone. You can kind of see, especially on the map, but also ahead of us, the terrain's starting to come up towards us. We're at 10,000 feet. West Yellowstone Airport's going to be at an elevation of around 6,600 feet. So, yeah, we'll basically, the ILS calls for 10,100 feet to start it out and then shoot it. I think we will shoot the ILS for runway 1. We're coming from the right direction. So basically when we're ready to do that, we'll probably cancel flight following. And, we'll cancel flight following and just make straight in. But I do want to give that a practice because it's a good skill to have. West Yellowstone is an untowered airport. Localizer for that is going to be 110.7. So yeah, good fun Friday flight, Friday night ops here in Idaho. Well, mostly out to the southwest, mostly in California, but they did have Boise included, so I thought
Walker 2317, contact Salt Lake Center 120.
that's kind of a cool, fun airport we can fly out of.
120.27,
I do enjoy the smaller airports when they have them fully towered up. That's a nice one. But yeah, lots of ways to enjoy it. We're doing some VFR flying. I need to do more VFR flying on Vatsim. I don't do it nearly enough. I'd also like to bring the DC-6 to continental U.S. one of these days. I haven't really done. We've done it up in Alaska, but on Vatsim, but that hasn't really been controlled. So that's a fun exercise. But I do like to cheat with the GTN 750 just because it's so much easier than the default GNS 430 GPS system to work with in a high pressure situation. I am not above that. I respect the people who can VOR to VOR all the time. But, well, we're up to 197 now. Is it giving me some credit? Yeah, it's giving me a minute back. All right. That's good. So again, about a half hour. We're at 10,000 feet, 6,600 for the runway. Runway length, it's a good thing to check out at West Yellowstone. We've got one runway, 8,400 feet, which is plenty for something like us. Localizer on 110.7. Missed approach procedure, if you're interested. Again, we're VFR, so if we go missed, we'll just kind of stay in the pattern, but whatever. Missed approach, climb 9,000 feet, and then right turn 10100 direct, Targi, Lima, Oscar, Mike, and then hold. So right here, and then they're holding you here, I guess. And then you can reshoot it. That's another thing. If you're looking at starting Vatsim, charts are important to know and read. So definitely, you don't have to have a chart subscription if you're flying in the US, definitely. I mean, you get ChartFox with Vatsim. That's what I use. But charts and learning how to read a chart is another thing you really should do if you're interested in IFR and Vatsim. And that's also, again, there's so many videos about it in the internet, but it's not rocket science. It's really just being able to tell what altitude you should be at when you have a speed restriction, when you don't. It's all pretty well laid out in the charts. There are some edge cases, there are some interpretations you have to make, but for the most part, pretty straightforward. So you haven't. So that approach or SID. Yeah. So we don't have a SID coming into West Yellowstone. What would be a good SID? I mean, or we didn't take a SID out of Boise. We're not on a star into Yellowstone. We're just going to shoot the ILS approach. And the ILSs are generally pretty straightforward. It gives you some altitudes. It gives you some altitudes here. Like, this is the vertical profile. It gives you some altitudes, 10,100, 9,000 feet here. And then down. We'll be actually, and then out here. And the other thing is, if they tell you you're flying the visual, you can still program in the ILS and use that as a backup in your nav, or you can use the RNAV, or, you know, you can back it up with a precision approach if you're flying the visual, but that's all kind of muddies the waters a little bit. We could look at something like KDEN with a SID. I mean, it's, you pick any of them. What have I used? I fly to Denver a lot. I think I took the Summer 2. And SIDs in the US, again, are pretty simple most of the time. A lot of them are just a waypoint and flying runway heading and then vector to a waypoint. But like this one, it just shows you the heading, you fly off the runway, and then the different waypoints you program in depending on what you're given. Or it really depends on what runway you're flying off of. It's an interesting topic. It's something you should understand. But it's not rocket science. Flying with real ATC is really mostly a matter of following directions and being able to follow directions.
American 1907 Salt Lake.
The other tip, the big tip, is have a pen in your hand and write stuff down, because you can't remember stuff that well. I don't. So readbacks.
1907, not really seeing anything for next.
Readbacks are real hard if you try to remember everything.
There might be some more stuff when you get closer to Washington around Pasco, but
if you write it down, it's
moderate, so
easy.
it should be no problem for your flight.
It's like clearance taxi instructions. Even, especially taxi instructions. Don't even try to look at the chart and figure out where they're telling you to go. Just write it down on a piece of paper and read it back. Then you have it written down, and you can figure all the rest of it out later. So yeah, the 3 principles of flying on Vatsim. Getting started on Vatsim. What is that? Listen to other people and other people how they do it. Read the charts. And have a pen. And you will screw up, and it's okay. Yes, that's 4. About 70 miles to West Yellowstone now. That is a very scenic part of the world. Again, you're starting to see the start of the Teton Range over here, Grand Tetons.
449er, Denver Center's offline, radar service terminated, frequency change.
I think we're going to be in Salt Lake Center the rest of the way.
We'll see you next time. 449 out.
But, yeah, we'll be well into Salt Lake Center. But yeah, you start to see the mountain ranges coming up to us. There's basically going to be a line of mountains between us and Bozeman, Montana, which would be kind of the next international airport close by.
Dash aircraft has its weather information convected to Quebec 6 Western, 7 Western, 8 Western, 9 Western. For thunderstorms within Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Montana, Wyoming, Idaho is available on 5 service frequencies.
So, yeah, so they're talking about thunderstorms, I think probably up here. Well, that's up in Montana. Wyoming down here, too. So there's this kind of line of storms. We should get to... We're over our destination somewhere like here. So we should be all right. There's a line of storms.
Like about 15 minutes away.
I'm not sure which way. I think it's
Walker
blowing.
542, that's approved. Report back.
I think it's heading east. So I don't think it'll be a factor, but we'll check the weather anyway. METAR TAF. So updated METAR, VFR 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 13 at 03, or 030 at 13, 10 mile visibility, no ceilings, a few clouds at 10,000, we'll keep an eye out for that, 2988. Yeah, so it shouldn't be too dramatic. It was, the wind was worse earlier. There were some high, 19 to 26 knots. But it looks like we're still heading in 010.
Number 0 Papa Golf, contact Salt Lake on 120.27. Have a good flight.
Now,
I should...
Negative, it's 120.27, 2027 for 0 Papa Golf.
2027 for 260 Papa Golf. Thanks for the service.
Yeah.
So if we were to, we can actually start punching this in here. Actually, let's put it in heading mode before I start messing with too many things. So if we wanted to, we could start and say, hey, I want to do the approach. The ILS for 1. Targi is the initial approach fix. And, I mean, we could load and activate, I think. This is something that I'm not particularly good at, using these, using Garmin systems for this kind of work. We had some issues with the Honda Jet on our last stream on Tuesday. That looks like it's taking me right to Targi here. And then that looks like the missed approach stuff. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's saying 13 minutes to that point. As we get closer, we'll just, yeah, we will probably call center and just tell them, hey, we're going to try and shoot. We'll practice shooting the ILS for runway 1. There's no other traffic really in the area. I don't think there's anyone going into West Yellowstone. That's one of the nice things about Vatsim, is that we're kind of traffic omniscient. We can see all the stuff. So, like, there's a United north of the field, but it's at 35,000 feet. It's no factor. There's an American at 33,000, no factor. So you get traffic omniscience. I know that there's no one at Yellowstone. And in real life, there would probably be some GA traffic at West Yellowstone on a nice day like today. Probably a lot of it. But that takes it a little bit out of our planning hands. So we're heading to Targi.
American 1907, contact Salt Lake approach, correction Salt Lake Center on 120.27. Have a good rest of your flight.
Over to Salt Lake Center.
But you're starting to see terrains coming up. We're getting some higher hills. Yellowstone National Park is going to be over that way. I think there's a ridge between us and West Yellowstone. But it is a fun place to fly again. We've kind of made a video about that on the channel. Check it out if you haven't seen our Sim Pilot's Guide to Yellowstone. Shameless plug. Now, just for fun, if we were to have an issue here, like we lost an engine, if we lost an engine, I think we'd keep going. But the nearest airports around us are probably...
United 2462, Salt Lake Center.
We're a ways past Idaho Falls.
Reported, squawk 6044.
So, I mean, yeah, DIJ is probably the best one. Driggs Field. Driggs Reed Memorial. Kind of out to the right. There's also Stanford U12 is a field we could look at. I don't know if that's, yeah, I don't know. Don't know about that one. I don't have a chart on it. Rexburg is also closer. KRXE. Kind of an academic thought at the moment. Hopefully it remains that way. But it is a fun, sporty plane. 310R.
2462, cross Spain at and maintain 16,000. Salt Lake landing north, Salt Lake altimeter 2978.
Landing north, Spain, 16,000, 24.
So thank you all for coming along as we cruise along the Snake River Plain in Idaho, heading towards West Yellowstone Airport.
1026 Salt Lake Center, radar contact with the shadows reported.
We are at Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey.
6072,
Of course, one other note, if you're listening to ATC traffic, it depends on where, communication practices vary quite a bit depending on where you're on the world and whether you're on Vatsim or not. I've noticed today, so in the U.S., GA flying, we drop the N on your registration if you're an N number. So like, I wouldn't call. You'll hear general aviation YouTubers in the States 866 Tango Whiskey. I find that on Vatsim they put the N on, but it's just and a lot of it's adapting to whatever the center wants, whatever the air traffic control wants you to do. You don't get points for being right if everyone else is doing it another way. But it's just interesting. There's a lot of small regional variations, a lot of small things, small differences between real life and sim, and controllers get things wrong sometimes. Pilots get things wrong all the time. I don't know how many perfect games I've thrown, but not many. This one wasn't a perfect game, no, because I contacted center. I missed that handoff.
1026 cross Spain at and maintain 16,000.
So no one's perfect.
North Salt Lake altimeter 2978.
Least of all pilots.
cross Spain at 160,000, and we have the number.
Alright, so we're now 33 miles, I think, from Tangi. Once we get within 20, I might call them and say, hey, we're going to try and shoot the ILS. So the ILS is 110.7. We can tune in and I don't think we'll pick anything up yet, but we'll see. And then, just in case it comes up, the final approach course can be 012. 012. We're also not on nav mode anymore, so we can hit that back in. See us drifting a little bit to the right. It's a good, quiet, low-key. It is nice, yeah, sometimes when these quieter sectors get staffed up on Vatsim, it is a nice opportunity for some GA flying, because there is some airline chatter, but it's not overwhelming. Like sometimes it is in New York or Washington or Atlanta or Jacksonville. Sometimes that can be a little overwhelming up the eastern coast, Boston. And they do a good job of handling it all, but sometimes you just want a quieter cruise. I do really like this livery. Again, this is from flightsim.ti. I forget the author, but I'll link it in the description below. And then I took it and pasted my own tail number on it in paint.net. Now, I don't know if you've ever read about the regulations about, how you can actually paint your N number and what the rules are. Apparently, a lot of commercial fonts aren't actually legal to, and they aren't legal to, they don't meet the requirements for you're displaying your N number in the States. It's fascinating. So if you use just an off-the-shelf commercial font to paint on your airplane, you might be doing it wrong. You might have something that is out of regulation. It has there are width requirements on the letter, so a letter can be like 2/3 as wide as it is tall. It's really interesting. And Aerostar, the livery is cool. I don't know how it makes the landings, but I doubt it makes it much easier. It's like a racing stripe. It makes it go faster, but that doesn't help with landing. I guess if you're looking at topographic map livery, it helps you avoid terrain. Ender, you're going to stay for the landing. Good. Buckle up. You need to enhance your landing technique.
Discretion, maintain 15,000.
You know, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Is
but
29er, 79er.
You know, sometimes you think it's just me slamming this thing into the ground. But again, the landing gear doesn't do you any favors. It's not designed to give you a nice, soft, cushy landing. And yeah, you really got to leave the power in until you're really in the flare, because once you pull the power, man, it just, the bottom drops out. And I
Right, 866 Tango Whiskey, no traffic observing between you and the western Yellowstone Airport. Radar service terminated. Squawk VFR, frequency change approved. See ya.
Alright, we'll squawk VFR, frequency change approved. 6 Tango Whiskey. See ya. Alright, so we're done. We're gonna head into Yellowstone now. No traffic in the area. It's all good. We can start thinking about landing though. I'm gonna come back on the power a little bit. We're gonna shoot the ILS, which means we're gonna basically look for the glide slope indication here. You can see the side angles on this on our HSI here. So we're gonna have glide slope that way. Do we have the localizer yet? We do not. But yeah, 10,000 feet at Targi. I think, and then it kicks you back out. Is that what it's saying? Probably. I'm not actually going to fly the full procedure, I don't think, but we are.
Shark Center, Gulf Shoot 64 Gulf Challenge, flight level 350. We know where the Jackson Airport's closed. We're going to go out of the plane anyway.
Verse 624 Golf Julia, Sonic Center, roger.
Is Jackson Airport closed? I didn't know that. So we'll set it up. We're just going to fly the localizer approach, make a straight in. And I'm not going to suss out where they're going with all that. There's a, there should be, yeah.
Walker 542, welcome back.
So we're going to aim for, as we're coming in, I'm going to come back on the power a little bit. Keep everything in the green. We could, oop, nope, it didn't like that. So that's probably about good in the mixture. So we'll go down to 9,000 feet here. So 9,000. Queue up a descent. Try not to nosedive me if we could help it. Yeah, what are we doing? Just coming back on the power. 9,000 feet, we're looking for the localizer. We do have glide slope. And then our final approach course is going to be, let me go off of nav mode. We'll go heading mode. Which will take us to the right a little bit and set this up. What did I say? 012? So that's 360, that's 10, and that's 012 or thereabout. And we're also going to take that over to VLOC, so we're in the nav frequency now.
United 2462, advise you have information Delta, runway 34, right?
Alright, we got Delta.
So yeah, Ender, definitely. The H-jet does float.
Expect it's right, 34 left approach.
I find that one is a lot higher for me. Now, we are a little bit, we got to keep an eye on this terrain here. Let me check the chart. That is so that peak over there is 8,700 feet.
Before Golf Juliet.
So we're going to kind of shoot this,
when able to approach request.
We'll get back to you, 4 Golf Juliet.
So we're going to kind of shoot this gap up here. But we got 8,700 feet off to our right. And about, we'll assume that off to our right here, we've got off to our left, and then 8,700 off to our right too. It doesn't really matter. We're flying VFR, so, our eyes are responsible for our safety at this point. let's see. Did I miss anything else? Yes. It is hard to master a lane when you fly a bunch of planes. I mean, going from the 737 to the H-Jet is not a... If you want to look good on the internet, I don't suggest it.
You can expect the approach from Moss.
And the H-Jet, the H-Jet takes a long time to slow down. It's a small airplane, but it's it does take a lot of runway to land. It's not it's by no means a STOL airplane. I found that out the hard way.
62, clear direct. Let's see, clear a Camry, cross Camry at or above 9,000, clear out at runway 34 left.
I'm gonna turn the AV pilot down. And Aerostar, yes. It is a good, fun plane. Weren't you? I thought you were on that stream. We streamed that on Tuesday. And here we go. We got the localizer coming in. I'm going to go over to nav mode. We could even go approach mode. We've got the glide slope, yellow dots here. It is a fun plane, though, Honda Jet. I have wanted to fly it again. I was kind of rooting for it in the poll I posted on our community tab. I was rooting for the Honda Jet, but this is fun too. I've actually really enjoyed this flight, and I'm glad we did it because the 310 is just a great airplane too. But anyway, Honda Jet is fun. It makes me feel like a Bond villain.
Walker 542, Denver's offline, radar 7 terminated, frequency change approved.
So it's one of those kind of little jets. That's fun. But not quite a military jet. Military jet flying on Vatsim and stuff is a whole other ball game, and I don't want to mess with it. But yeah, H-Jet's a good fun plane. We're at 9,000 feet. We've got the glide slope. We've got the localizer. We've got to call traffic here. So 122.8. Not that there's any traffic. But we'll go ahead over here. I was going to say, you saw us biff that landing. But that's all right. So yeah, we're coming into land again. We're going to shoot for an approach speed of 80 to 90 knots. Closer probably to 90. Just because when this thing gets slow quick. And yeah, so just refreshing my memory. We're good. Flaps 15 under 138, and gear is under one. I think gear is under one. I don't remember what gear is. 138, but it's certainly less than 110. We don't have. I don't have DME for the localizer. That's all right. I can tell that West Yellowstone is. You know, where that looks like a good 10 miles. So we'll bring the flaps out. We'll wait a little bit on the gear. And then, yeah, once we're ready, we'll go props full forward. Mixture is going to be, we'll richen it up a little bit as we descend here. It's not going to like that, but that's all right. We are still pretty high, 6,000 feet, so we'll still lean it out a bit, but we are in approach mode. It should fly us down to the runway. The approach mode in this plane, I've messed with it a little bit, but it does do a pretty good job. We've got glide slope captured now. It's yelling at me about the missed approach altitude. So, but we're in approach mode. We'll go to, what's the missed approach altitude? 9,000, so we'll leave it at 9,000. So we're coming down. We're a little fast now as we start descending, so gear can come out. We'll bring the power back. I'm going to put my prop RPM just at about 2,500. And then again, yeah, we're going to, let me scoot up in my seat a little bit. We've got glide slope. We're getting a stutter. We've got glide slope. We've got localizer. We've got the runway visually. We can make a traffic call to be good pilots. West Yellowstone traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey, making straight in for runway 1, West Yellowstone. Yeah, flap speed's on the lever, 138, and then, 158 is that flaps 15, or do I have to have flaps retracted by 158? I don't know. It's fine. 138. We're below it in any case. We'll bring it back, and then kind of below the blue line is my rule of thumb for full flaps. I'm also going to take control now because we can, just to kind of, again, get a feel for it. It does not handle well with all this drag out. So we'll go full flaps and trim it out, nose down a little bit, and just keep following the glide slope. I got 1 white, 3 red, so we're a little low. But we're in bounds. And then, yeah, it's just going to take a bit of power here. We'll go full, props full forward, and we're actually even stalling at this point, so. Just keep that nose down, and it just takes a lot of power in this configuration. And then the other thing, yeah, you just want to get the power where you think, almost to where it is. I haven't done this in a little while. I mean, I've got almost, I feel like I've got almost full power, and I don't quite, but it's close. And we're only at 100 knots, 95 knots, so it really does. I mean, once you've got it dragged up, little bumpy. Again, go around, we'll just enter the pattern. We'll make left traffic. Got the aiming point, 2 white, 2 red. Glide slope's good. We're good left to right. Little bumpy coming down, but that's all right. We got a nice long runway, so I'm willing to be on the little bit of the faster side here. I'm getting a little low here. Good bumpy landing. Again, it shouldn't be very much of a crosswind, which is good. We're bringing it down. Glide slope's looking good. We're over the field, and yeah, I mean, if you pull the power here, you're going to crash nicely down to the runway. But like here, I'm still going to fall a little bit. Ooh, what was that? 217, see? Not that landing rate is a good indicator. But that came to a stop like... do I have the parking brake on? Oh, that's why. So we did a real stall landing there with the parking brake on. 217. So it looks bad. It's fine. It is the landing gear design though. I mean, just like the high nose gear and there's not a lot of give in the suspension of this thing. West Yellowstone traffic, Twin Cessna, 6 Tango Whiskey, vacated runway 1, taxiing to parking, West Yellowstone. Yeah, you kind of would, but I mean, it's not, this airplane isn't overpowered. These engines aren't hugely powerful for the airframe, relative to something like on a King Air. So once you get it all dragged up, let's get the flaps up. Gear is good. I always like to open a window. So we're on the ground. But yeah, you would think, but my understanding is these engines aren't all powerful relative to the airframe. And we're also still pretty full. We've got almost, you know, I've got 3/4 in the main tanks and half of the aux tanks in terms of fuel, plus 3 passengers. So we're not light either for this airplane. So it's actually, you know, it is somewhat power limited, which is interesting. So it does not feel great on that final, but that was fun. And just, yeah, getting it graceful is a whole other challenge. Where would GA park? We'll go out to the to the spots over here. So thank you all for coming along. We've just arrived into West Yellowstone Airport. This is the scenery by Windhover, I believe. Really great. We visited it before on the channel, but West Yellowstone Airport, highly recommend. 10 out of 10 if you're looking on it. Flightsim.to. I got a lot to link in the description below on this one. We'll taxi over to the general aviation area, but West Yellowstone, if you're looking for a base to explore this area, to explore Yellowstone National Park, great one. Aircraft rescue, if you want to do rescue and firefighting, search and rescue, good option. The only thing about it is there aren't a ton of airports real close to it. I mean, Idaho Falls, basically the way we came up are the nearest airports. Other than that, you're looking at Jackson Hole, which is probably, in this airplane, another hour to the south. Probably, maybe a little, maybe not. Jackson Hole to the south, and then the biggest international airport's probably Salt Lake City, or Denver, or Bozeman. Bozeman again. Probably is an hour to the north. It's not a very good park job. But we have made it. Flaps are up. Let's go through. I got a checklist for this. I'm not going to pretend to remember. Okay, so after landing, I didn't turn my landing lights on. We still retracted them. Taxi lights weren't on either. I'm trying to get better at that, but the 737 I'm doing better, but this one I forgot. All right, so fuel pumps are off. Parking brake is on. Avionics master, we can turn it off. All switches off except for alternator, battery, and magnetos. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one that actually doesn't... Oh, it does tell you to take the engine out. So we'll pull the engine, pull power, or pull the mixture out. We'll pull prop RPM back. Magnetos off. That's all good. Let's let people start getting out and enjoy their time in Yellowstone. I'll even put the avatars in so they can see us. Oh, we had 4 passengers today. I do like I like the idea, but it is good that we can hide that. Cabin's cool and getting colder. It is 50 to 30 degrees outside. And just for fun, let's oh, I got to power down. So all switches off. We'll turn anti-collision lights, strobe lights, nav lights off. Alternators can come off. We do have battery power. This stuff's all good. Temp control, I'll turn the heater off. Close all these valves. We put a couple hours on the airframe. This is all good. Yeah, I think the rest of it is fine. The other thing we should probably do is turn the fuel tanks off. And these dials, again, go opposite of the way you think they do. Cool. All right, that's good. Battery off. We can put control locks on. Put all our covers on. The last thing let's do, let's just see what we've actually got. Let's inspect this airplane. So we made it to the ground, West Yellowstone. It is fun. Really great, fun plane. And Aerostar, thanks for coming along, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I try to be more regular, too. We just missed... usually we're trying Thursdays. We just missed it this week. And I'm not sure if we'll make it next week. But yeah, fuel valves off. We got that. But again, thank you all for coming along. Fun Vatsim flight. Again, I think the combination of busy event adjacent to you, but not directly on top of you, is a good place to be if you're looking for kind of a good Vatsim flight for VFR. It guarantees you some coverage, but also keeps you out of the way. Flying out there. Yeah, Ender, I don't know if that was a textbook flight. Wasn't a textbook one. It is just, I blame the transition from airliner to GA is always kind of tough. But also just practice and flying it a bunch. You'll get it down, but doing some laps in the pattern will help you get that landing down much better. And it's not all about the landing rate, but it's also a plane that isn't designed to make you look good when you're landing, really. It doesn't help you. It doesn't make you look good because of the suspension and everything. It's something known about the real one. So it does kind of slam down. And of course, Ender, I do enjoy it. So thanks for coming along. Appreciate it. Yeah, so we've got good spark plug. Less spark plug is a little bad, lift oil, but that's all pretty good. This is a rental airplane. I got 2128 Victor because I forgot to change it in the settings, so that's just fine. But yeah, so we're on the ground here. That's all good. Thank you all for coming along on this full flight from Boise to West Yellowstone in the Cessna 310R by Milviz. Fun airplane. Again, we'll probably try and do some more Honda Jet stuff, some more Milviz GA stuff on Vatsim. Some DC-6 stateside as well would be a fun thing to do. And I do enjoy the 737 as well. Again, normally we try to stream on Thursdays, and then if there's a cool event on the weekend, that's also so. But usually departing Thursdays around 0000 Zulu time for our normal stream schedule, if you're interested in tagging along with us. But yeah, do appreciate y'all coming along on this fun flight. And yeah, hope you all have a great rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever it is where you are. Take it easy, y'all.